show yesterday, Ita mentioned how real estate mogul John McGrath failed his high school leaving exams, but he is now worth a fortune. It was part of her advice to a young school leaver who had just received her results but hadn't done as well as she'd hoped. So we thought we'd bring John in. Let's make John McGrath. Welcome, everyone. Hi, John. John, welcome. Was that a bit weird walking through the doors? Were you expecting sharks along the side?
Strange. Exactly, yeah. No, it's great to see everyone there.
Of course, you're on the new show Shark Tank.
It's the most fun I think I've had in many, many years. We got to see 120 entrepreneurs, Australian business people and inventors. And over a month, we just, got to meet them all and we scrutinised their businesses and we got to invest in a few, so it was really tremendous.
We'll talk more about that in just a moment, John, but look, a lot of people are getting their results this week from school and some haven't done as well as they hoped they would do. What advice would you give them?
Well, look, I think, you've got to do your best in the HSC and hopefully you've got into whatever courses you'd like to do after school. But at the end of the day, it's just a number on a piece of paper. It's what happens from now that really counts. And most of the successful business people that I've known have actually done not terribly well, and many of them haven't even finished school. I mean, I know on the Shark Tank, two of the other investors hadn't even finished school. So, I think that it's your attitude that puts you apart. It's how do you differentiate yourself with attitude? That's far more important than whether you did well at math or algebra and history and geography. So
you didn't always have that attitude, did you? I mean, when you left school and you got your results, how did you feel? I mean, it must have been a pretty dark day from what I read about you.
Oh, true. Look, it was devastating at the time, and to be very honest, I lied for years to family and friends because I couldn't bring it to tell people that I'd got 95 out of 500 in those days. Wow. Now, nowadays it's out of 100, so I sound pretty good. It's pretty smart. But in those days it was out of 500, so I told everyone I got over 300 because I was so, depressed about getting such a poor mark. But then I thought, well, I've got to do something about it, and I wanted to be a sports person, but then I had collapsed lungs, so that went by the wayside. So then I just started really working on it. I found real estate was something I had a great passion for, and I could do it without having a good HSC mark, and I studied at night and I worked by day, and it ended up being and I've done it 32 years later. I still love it every day I go into the office.
Important point there, you said you studied at night, so you got the piece of paper you need to be a real estate agent.
That's right. I went to Tech at Randwick 3 nights a week, and then I work 6-7 days a week, in my day job. So I think, you can make up for lost time, and not everyone finds their gift by the time they leave school. Some people, they're incredibly creative, they weren't so good with numbers and other things, they weren't great students, but they have a gift somewhere. So, I just, no matter what mark you got this week on your HSC, everyone's got a gift and everyone can get better at what they do. You just got to apply yourself, have a great attitude, work hard.
It's doing the work. What do they say? You can't... To get to the top... You have to take the stairs, you can't take the elevator, You've got to work for each step.
A lot of it too is to do with the influences around you, because I find a lot of parents are telling their kids the HSC is everything, you have to go to university. They're not thinking broadly enough and therefore allowing other opportunities. So I think we've all got a role to play in this, don't you?
Yeah, no, I agree, Gretel. And look, teachers tell you that because they want you to study, and it can be of benefit if you get a good HSC, but the problem is the kids that don't get the good one, then all of a sudden they find themselves feeling like rejects and I'm a failure, and in fact they're at the beginning of their life, and whatever they want to achieve. I mean, I come from the world where anything's possible, and I look at what happened to me then, and then I look at the incredibly great sort of business journey I've enjoyed over the last 3 decades, and I just think you've just got to go out and make it happen for yourself. I mean, this is the lucky country. Australia, you can do anything, wherever you are, whatever you want to do, you can achieve it, but you've got to go for it and you've got to believe it. It comes down to your belief.
Yeah, well said. Speaking of the lucky country, what I like about our show that's coming up in February, Shark Tank, is that it's all about setting people up to meet their moment and to take that next step in business. Were you surprised at the talent that was coming through and the hard work that was going into the Shark Tank every day?
Unbelievable. I mean, as I said, we got to meet 120 innovators, inventors, entrepreneurs from all walks of life, and some of the ideas they've come with are phenomenal. And all they needed was a little bit of luck, and I think getting on the show might give them that bit of luck. It helps them, meet some potential mentors, get an investment. So hopefully this will change their lives. And I think for some of them, there was quite a few that got invested in, and I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens from here.
Can I just ask a quick question? In ratio of men to women bringing these inventions, is it still male heavy?
It was fairly balanced, I think. It might have been slightly male skewed, but I think it was pretty balanced. And you know, the women that were bringing businesses on from all ages, you know, from teenagers right through to people in the mature stage of life. It was phenomenal. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I was talking to Ida about this in the dressing room the other day, that Australia's built on the backbone of small business, and there are so many thrilling businesses coming through, and people who have, mortgaged their homes and aren't paying themselves a wage so they can get their idea or
they are the entrepreneurs, and if they get it right, the big guys come along and buy them out. Then they go away and get up another idea. It just keeps on going.
And Australia has a great history of entrepreneurs around the world. Some of the best entrepreneurs have actually come from this little part of the world.
And also innovators and inventors as well, which is great. I think it's a perfect show. My only disappointment is that the rejected candidates didn't get eaten by actual sharks.
Some of the sharks have freaking laser beams on their heads, though. Hey, watch out for Shark Tank on 10. It is coming early in the new year. It is going to be fantastic. John McGrath, you are great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Happy to have you back.